Oh man, my throat. Well, let's watch this video. This music is legit not bad, yeah. It's kind of cool. Let's watch geography now, Iran. Let's just see what I have to do next. Seems like I got some friends, man. I did an aggression pact. I have 5 research slots. That's pretty good. I'm getting the 2 sieves. Research is going kinda okay. I am not gonna rush this. Man, I need to build an industry. It's actually very hard to build an Iranian industry. Iran is so fucking behind with everything. Dude, I have 210. That's so weak. Man, Corona. Okay, let's take a look at this shit. Let's go.
Not call most of these people Arabs.
Okay, I already failed. Don't call them Arabs. That's the first thing I did. Ooh, we congratulate our Alpine brothers reforming their empire. Oh, that was easy. Damn. Austria-Hungary became very quickly. Jeez. Getting so much army XP now from Spain. You gotta really go to Spain. Did he choose Carlist? Yeah, he became a Carlist. Someone texted me. No, he didn't. Huh? Someone disconnected. 2 people disconnected. Krios? I don't know. People disconnected. Whatever. Let's go.
It's time to learn geography.
No! Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie. Okay, let me break this down so you can quickly get the distinction. You've heard of Persia, right? The Persian Empire, Persian rugs, Persian cats, the Prince of Persia, which by the way, Disney got incredibly accurate. Yes, Persia is pretty much synonymous with Iran. Now, not everyone in Iran is Persian, but it's a huge part of their story, which we will begin discussing now.
As a kid, I always wondered, why is Iran not called Persia? Why is Iran Iran and not Persia? And why do they shoot their own people down the sky? I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking making jokes.
Okay, let's be frank. Iran seems to get their fair share of the news quite often in the Western media. However, conflict issues aside, Iran has a deep history and story in the Middle East that extends millennia in the past.
Volume up?
Probably be wise to educate yourself on. First of all, Iran is located in Western Asia, bordered by 7 other countries.
Huge country,
as well as
man.
the Caspian Sea
They have the same inhabitant count like Germany almost.
Oman to the south, divided by the Strait of Hormuz, which is like one of the most important sea passages in the world. Hey! It's Arabian Gulf. Most people have called it Persian Gulf, and it's been that way for centuries. Plus, Arabs have their own sea. Just let them have it.
Because Persians are only 50% of the
31
population.
provinces with the capital Tehran located in the north-central region. Now keep in mind, before Tehran, Iran actually had 30 previous capitals throughout their history, more than any other country in the world. Otherwise, Iran also divides the country into 5 non-constituent unit regions for administrative purposes, each one containing 6 provinces, except for 1 region containing 7, which also includes the capital. Finally, although they are administered...
I'm really interested in the history, because I don't know much, you know, I don't know, but... I've always read and saw that Iran used to be secular, meaning religion and state were cut from each other, and they were very prosperous, and women could like walk around free and had rights. And then something happened, and Iran became super hardcore religious again, like hardcore Islam, and now they're all fucked again. And somehow USA did all of that shit. The CIA fucked them all up with like the CIA and shit. Like once again, the USA fucked up Iran, and now Trump is like anti-Iran, even though they made Iran and shit. I don't know. But USA fucked something there, right?
By Iran, the country also has a current dispute over the Abu
It's like a strong democracy in this region would have not been good for them.
Islands with the United Arab Emirates nearby the Strait of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf. After
The
Tehran, the largest cities are
1979
Mashhad
revolution.
in the east and Isfahan in the center, and the largest airports are of course Tehran's 2 twins, Mehrabad and Imam Khomeini International, Mashhad International.
Name an Arabian country that hasn't been fucked by the USA.
Ownership of about 30 or so islands in the Gulf, and technically 1 island in the Caspian
Huge
Sea,
country, man,
Ashur
jeez.
Ade Island, which however it's kind of more like a loose peninsula. One thing you have to understand is that Iran takes their position and borders very seriously, as they are kind of like a land bridge located right at the crossroads between...
Yeah, they're like a land bridge. Like I just told, oh, we have nothing to do here. The Japanese
the
emperor.
Central and South Asian regions. The most important and largest seaport would be Bandar Abbas, which also houses the Iranian Navy, located right at the entrance at the...
Oh, they know where the Navy is? Whoa, 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 hey, that's too much information. Oh, I deleted my Navy, right? Okay.
Due to its incredible history,
Bro.
Iran is overflowing with landmarks and sites. Some of the top notable ones...
We must be very, very
Naqsh
culturally
Jahan Square,
rich
Milad
area.
Tower, Golestan
Thousands of years
Palace,
of...
Persian
Wow,
Garden, the
holy
Armenian
shit.
monastic ensembles of Iran.
That looks even Armenian. That looks even kind of Christian in a way. Like in a way, that's built. The architecture, like the... Isn't this Gothic bows? Must be from the Crusades or something? I don't know. It is Christian.
The tomb of Hafez, Yazadi Tower Freedom Monument, the Pigeon Tower, Yazd, the holiest place for Zoroastrians, Chogazanbil Zikrat, the Maya...
Is Zoroastrian still a big religion? Does it have like thousands of members?
Tommy,
Or how does that work?
I just asked the love of my life if she wants to go on a date with me. She said yes, and we're having a date at Sunday. Thank you for boosting my confidence so much. Tomic love.
People always think I'm kidding. Burritos got a date with the love of his life. Since he sucked. I don't know what to tell you anymore. You think I'm making this shit up? Burritos, all the best, man. Burritos, all the best on a date. And even if it doesn't work, you're a great young man. There's a lot of fish in the sea. And you got it, bro. You got it. Dude, I don't know what else to tell you, man. What I was asking about the religion. Don't want to say anything? Wait. No, Zoroastrians are kind of gone, okay.
Village, the Imam Reza
like
Shrine, the Khaju Bridge, Argebam, the Shushtar hydraulic system, the tomb of Cyrus the Great,
it's fucking
the tomb
beautiful.
of Daniel. Too many.
I don't know much about Iran. Is Iran a country that's like good for tourism? If I, a white guy, and my white girlfriend go to Iran, is that safe? I don't. It's safe, right? I know a lot of German companies make deals with Iran. It's not safe, is it? I think it will be safe. My brother's company makes a lot of deals with Iran. About, you know, my brother makes, I don't know how to explain. He makes like the hardware for pumps that pump shit in a way. They're buying. It's not safe.
Many famous mosques and shrines to list, and
But
pretty much
selling
everything in
weapons.
Persepolis. Iran was able to build so much of their own personal space, partially due to the fact that they were easily well protected by natural boundaries or
safe.
barricaded in. You decide. Let's explain in. You know what's funny? The world's hottest surface temperature ever recorded was 70.7
70
degrees
degrees, man.
in the Lut Desert in
Valley,
Iran, and yet
California.
Iran is also like the best ski resort area in the Middle East. First of all, Iran's most
Iran is the best ski resort? I will have never thought
topographical
that.
barriers are the Zakhros Mountains in the west, which also contain the largest lake, Urmia, and the mountains also feed the longest river, the Karun, in the south, which flows into the Gulf,
I never
as
heard
well
of
as
this
the
shit.
Alborz Mountains along
I know
the north,
nothing
which
about this.
contain
Any
the largest
Iranians in
mountain,
chat?
Mount
I used to have an Iranian viewer, I remember.
Mavand, which is also the tallest volcano in all
Looks
of
like an
Asia.
asshole.
Like, it's still active. There's so much mining potential in these mountains as well, which makes
American tourists get taken into custody all the time under suspicion that they are spies.
Iran the largest producer of turquoise and zinc. Otherwise, they have two main deserts, the Kavir and
Yeah,
the
well,
Lut,
maybe as a white
located
guy
in
you
the
should
Central
make
Plateau,
vacation in
and
Iran
the only real flat
moment.
part of Iran
You might
is
get
in
shut
the
down in the
Khuzestan
plane.
region right next to Iran. Iran is right on the boundary of the Arabian and Eurasian tectonic plates, which in return makes Iran the country with the most number of major earthquakes, of at least 5.5 on the Richter scale annually.
Like in the world? Iran is the country with the most earthquakes in the world? I would have never fucking guessed that.
Mine are bigger. Yeah, well, mine are explodier. Now, Iran is kind of like this strange anomaly that sticks out from the rest of the Middle East because it has alpine mountains with flowers and snow.
I'm
and
on a plane
water
to Iran
and
right
green,
now.
especially in the
After
north
the chat
along
for
the
that
coast
guy.
of the Caspian. I mean, sure, there are dry, arid deserts too, but overall, Iran is a lot more lush. This allows them to harbor river valleys for agriculture, which makes them the #1 producer of pistachios, saffron, stone fruits. By the way, Iranians love saffron. They put it in like half of everything.
Saffron is amazing. It's the most expensive spice in the world, right? I once went to a restaurant and they made saffron risotto with shrimp, man. That was one of the best things I've ever
Top
eaten.
foods from Iran might include things like pomegranate walnut stew, kuku, mirza kasemi.
I never even went to an Iranian restaurant or something. I don't know nothing
rice
about this
dishes
country.
like
The more I watch this, the more I realize it.
makala, lubia, shirin, various kebabs like juje,
Oh, that looks
ubide,
good. Oh, that looks
borscht,
good.
and bakhyari. Desserts like rosewater pudding, khalva, sarshir, bami, nokhotchi, and falude. By the
Most
way,
of this
half
shit
those
I've
dishes
never heard
have
of in my
saffron.
life, dude.
Alcohol is technically banned, however, people kind of smuggle it in and have their connections. Even the cops are kind of getting tired of trying to crack down, and many just look the other way and deal with other bigger things. Two other things Iran cannot live without: tea and caviar. In fact, Iran is the largest producer of caviar in the world, mostly from sturgeons fished off the coast of the Caspian.
That's not
Speaking
good
of which,
though.
Iran
I never understood the fucking concept of caviar. Like, you're rich and you're like, oh, I want something special. I want to distinguish myself from all the fucking plebs out there. So I'm gonna eat fucking fish eggs, man. What the
surprisingly
fuck
has
is that?
Quite an array of wildlife, including gazelles, wolves, falcons, storks, buzzards, and of course the famous Persian cat. Speaking of cats, Iran is home to some of the last only few remaining surviving Persian lions, which is by the way the national animal, Persian leopards, and yes, even Asiatic cheetahs.
Wait, aren't those like
The fuck's
African
this dude,
animals?
Actually, a lot of animals we affiliate with Africa had historically roamed all across the Middle East and Southern Asian regions.
Yeah, a lot
which
of
is why today we have
Iranian students
elephants in
everywhere.
India,
In
rhinos
university,
in
well, there was
Indonesia.
some
Unfortunately,
Iranians,
most of
yeah.
them have been killed off or incredibly endangered.
I think there was even an Iranian dude in my Chinese
The
university.
biggest natural resource, though, would have to be, no surprise, oil. Iran is the second largest oil producer in the Middle East after Saudi Arabia, and about
Man, when a country has oil, they always have like a history of CIA interference for some reason, right?
60% of their total reserves are located around the Persian Gulf. It's estimated that the country should have about 125 billion barrels in reservoirs, 10% of the world's total reserves, and they pump out about 4 million barrels a day. That's a lot. So with all the geographic isolation but abundance of resources, you might wonder, what is life like in Iran? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Now, Iran is interesting because it's caught in this strange new transition period in which everything in the new generation of millennials has a tincture of subtle defiance. First of all, Iran has about 80 million people and is the second most populated country in the Middle East after Egypt and has the highest number of Shia.
Dude, Egypt has more than 80 million? I never thought of that.
In the world. About 62% of the country is ethnically Persian, whereas the second largest ethnic groups are the Azeris, Kurds at about 10%, while the remainder is made up of smaller but noticeable groups like the Lurs, Arabs, Turkic groups, and others. They also use the Iranian rial as their currency.
Man, Egypt must be a huge country then.
And they drive on the right side of the road. Now let's emphasize this one more time. Persians are not Arabs. That's like the worst thing you can say to them. First of all, what is it like to be a Persian? Well, you kind of have to understand that Iran evolved a lot differently from all the other countries in the Middle East. History will take way too long to explain, but the quickest way I can put it, Proto-Elamites, Elam, Median Empire, Persian or Achaemenid Empire, Alexander the Great, the Seleucid, Parthian, and Sassanid empires. Islam enters through the Umayyad Caliphate, the Abbasid Caliphate, Saffarids and Samanids come in from the east, then some weird splitting up, the Ghaznavid, Seljuk, and Khwarezmian empires, Mongols! The Khanate, Timurid, Safavid, and Afsharid empires, the Zand and Qajar dynasties, quick Pahlavi dynasty, Islamic Republic, a little drama here and there, and here we are today. Now, the biggest distinction of Iran would probably be the language. The official language of Iran is Persian or Farsi, an Indo-European language also spoken in Afghanistan and Tajikistan, although they have their own dialects, which is completely unintelligible to Arabic. The second largest distinction would be that they are the largest Shia Muslim country in the world with doctrines that run their ideologies and legislation. If you don't know the difference between Sunnis and Shias, basically
Sunni is like the first Islam that believes in Muhammad, and Shia believe in Muhammad's uncle. He had like, there was some dude that was connected to Muhammad and he had different teachings, and then there was like some fucking caliph who was like, hey, the uncle of Muhammad knows more than Muhammad, and then he made this different religion, and now they all fuck each other, even though something like that. Wait,
Shias believe that Muhammad's
other way around. So wrong? Wait, okay, shut up.
Ideology.
In the end, it's like really dumb shit. They're all kind of the same, but they all fuck each other up.
And legislation. If you don't know the difference between Sunnis and Shias, basically, Shias believe that Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law Ali was supposed to be the rightful successor rather than Abu Bakr, who became the first caliph. If you don't know what any of that means, let me make it even easier. Shias, this guy. Sunnis, no.
Who gives a fuck, man? I never understood that. When I read the news and fucking Boko Haram has beheaded a bunch of fucking children in Africa just because they are Sunni and they are Shia, like, fucking stupid. Jeez, man.
This guy, done. The interesting thing, though, is that Persians still hold on to a lot of ancient Persian customs and traditions that predate even Islam. For example, for over 3,000 years, Persians
even
and
as a Muslim, it's really dumb.
People groups across the world still celebrate
like,
Nowruz,
the fuck,
or
man.
Persian New Year.
Well, the Christians have like Luther and Protestants and Catholics, but fucking stupid, man. Just so dumb. Thank you, burritos, for the 10, man. You should save that money for a nice date with that girl, my dude. Oh, we're back in the game, by the way. Get the 2 mils. 1 sec, I just want to pay attention. Okay.
March 21st, or the vernal equinox.
Thank you for the 10.
It's a secular holiday, however, it actually has roots and is considered holy to Zoroastrians. Zoroastrianism actually started in Iran and at one point was actually the state religion. Persians also have their own distinct art, which usually depicts human figures.
Like, man, this is gonna be really edgy, right? When ISIS was a thing, right? I was like, not studying them, but I was interested. What the fuck is ISIS? Like, studying and learning and seeing videos and shit, you know what I mean? And, like, ISIS goes into this village full of Arabic-looking young men, and then they kill them all, and it's because, like, they're I don't know, Shia or Sunni. And I'm just thinking, like, what? So, how far away you gotta be from any part of education for doing what? You're the one type of Islam, I gotta fucking behead you now. Like, that is so that's so away from me. It must be like missing education in that region or in ISIL, what the fuck ever, but straight up fucking the dumbest shit you will ever fucking see in your life, man. So dumb.
more often than other Sunni cultures. They have their own traditions, clothing, music, opera, poetry, sports. Polo was invented here, and they have that ancient warrior.
Polo was invented in Iran. Hey, British people, dude, you guys invent anything? You guys probably invented dentists, I guess.
Training thing. They have handicrafts. I mean, everybody knows that Persian rugs are like some of the most sought after in the world. But remember, not all Iranians are Persians, and some of these groups have expressed separatist movement desires in the past, but with pretty much no actual success. The second largest group, the Turkic Azeri, or Azerbaijanis, mostly live in the northwest along
Turks
the
are
borders
everywhere,
of
man, I'm
Turkey
telling
and
you.
the Caucasus regions, where their cousins, the actual Azerbaijanis in Azerbaijan, live. They are basically the same people, except one group speaks Farsi. Although exact numbers are kind of hard to estimate, today there are about twice as many to 3 times more Azeris living in Iran than there are in Azerbaijan. Then you have the Kurds that live along the west as well, and then you have the Arabs that mostly inhabit the flat Khuzestan areas by Iraq. You have the Baluchi people in the southwest along the border with Pakistan. Each of these people groups has their own language, culture, and history. Oh, and keep in mind, Persia is mentioned numerous times in the Bible. Iranian Jews believe that they are descended from Queen Esther, and they, as well as Christians, believe that King Cyrus was prophesied in the book of Isaiah. Speaking of which, although the vast majority of the population is Shia Muslim, there are communities of non-Muslims, mostly Christians and Jews. However, outside religions are strictly monitored and confined to only a few places of worship, as it is illegal to build churches or synagogues. Selling of literature is illegal, and apostasy from a Muslim is punishable, which is funny because just like in China, Iran has one of the fastest growing underground Christian communities in the world. And just
What? I never heard of that. China and Iran have fast growing underground Christian communities. What? There's still people out there that become Christian? Isn't that like a fucking 1950s thing? Who the fuck still does that?
disputedly the most in the Middle East. So how does Iran hold all these people together?
Christian
well, in
cartel.
order to speed up the Persian assimilation process, other languages are banned from school.
One sec. One sec. One sec. I gotta pay attention. I need this truck. Okay, I have so many research slots. I can really work with them. I'm rushing this. Other than that, we're looking good. The next 150 pp. Should think about that. Could be fucking army financing. Not yet. It's for civ building. Government propaganda. This is all boring. I am just gonna go down the big power tree. Let's finish this. I want to pay attention to it.
They have a system in which cooperation is rewarded and
Something pretty ignorant, not gonna lie.
So it's kind of like, join us and the rewards shall be bountiful.
I have my own thing going on, but thanks.
And he's dead.
Join us and the rewards shall be bountiful. Speaking of which, the government is a little confusing. You have both the regular
Supreme leader, highest religious political leader. What's his name right now? Khomeini or something? Who is he? He has experts and advisors, but there's also a guardian council and a president. What happened to Ahmadinejad anyway? What happened to Ahmadinejad? Khomeini, yeah. A complex political system.
legislators, and then you have the theocratic leaders.
Voters.
Essentially, the Ayatollah has the most power. He is not only the leader of the country, but also the entire Shia community.
So is it like kind of dictatorship in a way? Everything's going well.
Inside and outside of Iran. He's selected by a community of clerics called the Assembly of Experts, whom also have authority to approve all of the.
There's no women in this council.
From there,
disgusting.
The appoints people to the various ministries and offices.
Don't see a lot of feminists demonstrating about Iran, though.
I don't want to say the Ayatollah.
Hey, you guys remember when Trump was like bombing Iran and killing that dude, and all the fucking white girls on Twitter are like, "How can you do that? These poor Persians, man! That dude he killed. Oh, how could you?"
Is like the Pope of the Shia faith, but in some ways he kind of is. This is kind of where the Islamic Revolution comes into play and where all the modern drama with Iran kind of starts. Long story short, they took down the Shah, which they believed was a Western puppet.
That's me! I'm playing that guy right now, Riza Pahlavi.
And then they instituted a more conservative Islamic republic. This changed everything.
How do you do Wu-Tang Clan?
This was all nearly half a century ago. Today, an entirely new generation of modernized, digital, tech-savvy Iranians has entered the stage, and the country is seeing a completely new culture shift that they can't stop. About 70% of the country is under 30 years old, many of whom don't really...
Wow, wow, dude, Europeans are envying that. Under 70% are under 30 years. That can't be right. What?
Even like the rules, which means we have a lot of intrepid youths running the show now. Even the police are getting way more lenient because the police are getting younger too. Everyone in Iran is now kind of trying to find like loopholes and subtle cheats to avoid the religiously imposed laws. Although the hijab is required for all women in public, most women just loosely wear it, exposing their necks and front hair, almost as if it's like a fashion accessory rather than a religious article. Skateboarding, punk rock, and metal culture has already penetrated the youth, even women, although it's interesting because it's like Persian punk rock and metal. People meet at underground clubs and parties all the time wearing whatever they want.
So the country is kind of open-minded and shit, and the government is not doing anything there. Like, if I'm a woman and I'm kind of wearing my hijab not very right, and then I go to underground club and dance to Western music, they're not like, you're fine or what? Are they like super serious or what the fuck? They don't care.
If you catch them in their element, Persians are actually seriously like some of the most fun people you'll ever meet. And the crazy thing is, everybody knows about this. It's nothing shockingly new to the police or government. It gives them a little bit of a headache, but after half a century, it's kind of like, dude, whatever. Yeah, you didn't really expect that, did you? Persian punk rock rebels with hijabs and skateboards, right? And that's what goes on in the inside. Now let's see how they reach out.
The Reagan once said something I never forgot. Reagan said, it doesn't matter what ideology you have in a country, the next generation always naturally rebels with their parents. Whatever you do, man, the next generation will always rebel against what the previous generation is doing or did. That's just natural. Really interesting. Sorry, one sec. Everything going well? Keep going. Political power, minus 10% resources. I need the drum and steel soon.
Now here's where things get a little tricky, because in order to understand Iran's outside relations, again, you kind of have to look...
I'm from Iran, and if you get caught in underground party, you go to prison. But people do it a lot, I guess, right? It's like, hey, if you smoke weed, you get in trouble in Europe. But no one cares. It's like, what are you gonna do?
Look at Iran through the lens of both pre- and post-1979 revolution. First of all, Iraq is sometimes called Arab Iran, although don't say that to them, as they have the second highest population of Shias and hold two incredibly important holy Shia sites. They've mostly moved on from the war in the 80s, and the two have good ties, mostly.
Hey,
Afghanistan
Tommy,
and Tajikistan are like their cousins that have...
so long. Hope you're all well.
Thank you very much, man. I'm very well, man. I actually don't feel so good. I think I'm gonna get sick. But 24 hours stream, I'm good again. What's the time? I gotta stop my SIFs. Dude, I have a shit fucking economy. My economy is a joke. I'm not even gonna buy that steel, dude. It ain't looking that good.
Political views, and it's awkward when they have dinner together, but nonetheless, they still mostly get along. Russia and Venezuela are probably the best friends outside of the Middle East, as Hugo Chavez frequently visited Ahmadinejad and made numerous trade deals. Yeah.
I remember, this is gonna be very edgy, very edgy. Many years ago, You know, I was young. I was like, I don't know, I was young. In my early 20s. And you know, I'm still a marionette. I'm still a puppet. I'm like, go Bernie Sanders, and I'm still, that was like 2015 or something. And I was still very open-minded, and you know, Bernie Sanders, fuck Trump, and all that shit, and I believed all the lies I've been fed. And then something happened. One of the beginnings of me opening my eyes. This is gonna sound super weird, man. And I'm gonna trigger a lot of people. Larry King, the famous Larry King. If you don't know him, you gotta do research. Larry King had a very special interview, big one, was very big back in the day, with Ahmadinejad. And you know, in our world, Ahmadinejad, he's evil. He wants to get nukes, blah blah blah. And I was sitting down, 2014 or 15, and I'm looking at the entire interview with Ahmadinejad and Larry King. And dude, maybe I'm a toolbag who is just a puppet. Maybe I'm just an idiot who got manipulated. But I'm listening to Ahmadinejad for 2 hours, and I was like, hey, I kind of get it. I kind of get it. Like, he's not a nice guy, but he's sitting there. I mean, you have to watch it. He's sitting there, and he's like, why is this so bad? Dude, the USA is invading everybody. But if I build nukes, I'm the bad guy? Fucking hell. And he's like 2 hours talking about... I'm talking about the USA and how the US is truly the true evil of this planet, and he has like proof and shit like that. And I was like, okay, man, maybe you gotta listen to these people. Same thing, I know this is fucking edgy as shit, but it's just my opinion. It's my opinion, man. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm not. 2 years ago, I saw a big interview with the boss of Syria. What's his name?
All you need is some free market
They made a big interview with Assad, and I just listened. You know, we white people from the West, we only see what the media is telling, right? Again, Assad is obviously not a good guy. Prisons and shit, all that shit, right? But I'm listening to the 2-hour Assad interview. And he's kinda, you know, he's not this evil fucking devil. He's like, hey man, Fucking CIA is coming in here, fucking everything up. ISIS is made because Americans are fucking up, and now I'm defending myself. And they're just making these points against the USA and how they have been bringing so much pain, and they just want to fucking get something going and stability and shit. You gotta listen to that, man. I can't really give it back to you right now. It's not like I'm a fanboy of these dudes, but listen to Ahmadinejad, or maybe more modern. Listen to the I don't know where it was, man. But the Assad interview, and Assad is kind of just this dude. He's not eating children. He's speaking very educated about some fucking issues, and it's just nice to once in a while. Thank you, KSI Stevo. It's just nice to once in a while see the other side, you know. All we hear is fucking what America is telling us. What's going on? I don't know, man. I can't really bring the arguments they stated there right now, but they had some... I don't know, they were kind of like, listen, man, America is doing this, and this, and your Western media doesn't fucking give a shit. Obama wants to close Guantanamo Bay, but hey, I'm the fucking bad guy here, right? Blah, blah, blah. They kill all these people with drones, blah, blah, blah. All that shit. Just listen to it, man. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Maybe I just got fucking manipulated by crazy dictators in the Middle East. I'm not the true evil on the planet. Don't talk like this about me. But yeah. What? It was very, very interesting to see the other side, dude. Sorry, what are we doing? Let's finish the video. That was pretty edgy what I did here, but that's my opinion, dude.
Partially manufactured in Venezuela, and Russia was like a key ally in many of the war conflicts.
Thank you.
Surprisingly, they are also one of the few countries that have kind of decent ties to North Korea. They've pledged cooperation in education and cultural spheres in the past. The Azerbaijanis of the north, of course, love Azerbaijan. No surprise. Bahrain is like Saudi Arabia's girlfriend that they keep trying to flirt with and steal. When it comes to their best friends, though, most Iranians I talked to have said probably Syria and Turkey, although it's a little complicated, especially with all the current drama going on. Turkey and Iran have more or less always been
technology. Show me later.
Business. They are working on a plan to enter the European petroleum industry to rival Russia.
Oh, Iran has a plan to bring their fuel to Europe. Russia must hate that. Putin will never let that happen. I couldn't believe that. Let's get the final mill here for my cars, my artillery. Man, we have a very shit industry here, man.
Each country makes up a large population of tourists that visit each other every year. Syria, or more specifically, the Syrian government, has more or less worked alongside with Iran numerous times in the past and has been a key ally not only in diplomacy, but also strategically as they kind of give them access to the Mediterranean. In conclusion, Iran is kind of like a land that is constantly trying to figure out a way to reconcile the revolutionary ideals upon a fast-paced social media-induced generation of quiet culture rebels, while simultaneously dealing with outside stigma.
Very interesting to see the future of Iran with these young people.
But one thing we do know is that the young people
slowly taking over and old people
Stay
dying.
tuned.
I agree. Thanks, TommyKay. Come to Aleppo sometime.
Come to. Thank you, Asap, for the $5. Whose money is that? Huh? Say money. Thank you, Assad. I don't think I want to go to Syria for now. But yeah, in the end, I always made this point on the stream. The world is not black and white, it's gray. Yes, Ahmadinejad, Assad, they're bad people, they do bad shit. But I think it's very naive, childish, and stupid to walk around Earth and think that what we white Western countries, led by the USA, are doing is better than what they're doing. I feel like if you will make a list with bad shit people are doing, I think USA will lead that. So how come USA has this fucking right that we all have to suck their dick, man? I'm sorry! Oh, I'm gonna get fucking shot, man. I'm fucking dead already. It's over. I don't know, man.